we're going to ask for everybody to get settled, and so we can start our congressional briefing. On behalf of the Eating Disorders Coalition, I would like to welcome you to our spring lobby day. My name is Johanna Kandel, and I am the president of the Eating Disorders Coalition. I wanted to... Before I introduce our distinguished guest, I wanted to take a few moments to tell you why I'm here today and why I am so beyond honored to have my congressman be the individual that's introducing our bill this session. As many of you know, for over 10 years, I struggled with my eating disorder. My eating disorder started when I was 11 and a half, and I struggled in silence till I was 21. Being born and raised in South Florida, I should have had the option to get treatment, but I didn't. It wasn't until the age of 21 that I called up my parents and I said, Mom, Dad, I am sick and tired of being sick and tired. And as much as they wanted to help me, they couldn't. They didn't have the funds, they didn't have the resources, and they didn't have the insurance to back them up. Luckily, they were able to piecemeal variations of treatment, and I tried to find help wherever I could. Very slowly, as many of us know, one step at a time, I started to peel back the layers of the proverbial artichoke, and I'm proud to say that today I am 13 years recovered from my eating disorder. I will tell you that it's no small feat, and it didn't happen overnight. It's not black and white, and it's all variations of gray. The first time I came to DC was 11 years ago, and I sat in front of my congressman, and he said, okay, you're here, what do you want to talk about? And I said, I don't know. I just have to do something. Well, I am here because there are 30 million plus Americans that cannot be here today, that do not have the option of using their voice. Eating disorders do not discriminate. Eating disorders can affect everyone. But more than anything, through my recovery, I found that I did have a voice. I found that I have a voice that's really important. And it is because of my voice and because of the hard work of the EDC coming twice a year, year after year, that I was able to end up in the congressman's office. And through the help of his amazing staff and through his own, we've been able to develop this amazing relationship. And I am so incredibly honored to welcome Congressman Ted Deutch, our lead this year for the FREED Act.
Thank you. Thanks very much, Johanna. Thanks to everyone here for coming to this very important briefing. I want to thank the Eating Disorders Coalition for partnering with me, for allowing me to partner with you to assemble the highly qualified panel that will be presenting today, and for all of the efforts of the Eating Disorders Coalition over the past 13 years in bringing eating disorders into focus for my colleagues in Congress. I want to thank Johanna Kandel and the Alliance for Eating Disorder Awareness. It's a real honor for me, a true honor for me to have such a passionate group of experts working on these issues right in my own 21st Congressional District in Florida. I'd like to start just with 3 overarching principles that explain why we're here today, why it's important that we continue our work on these issues. Awareness and education, research, and access to treatment. Eating disorders are often misunderstood, they're inadequately recognized, diagnosed, and treated. Most striking and most concerning, there is a grave lack of seriousness surrounding eating disorders. Simply put, eating disorders kill. They have the highest mortality rate of any mental illness and often result in major medical complications. They put strain on family relationships, and they so often affect the way that a person feels about his or her place in society. Eating disorders often affect people before the prime of their life. They lead to an ongoing process of recovery, and the recovery is only available the recovery is only available to those who manage to find support and treatment. And we know that eating disorders can be successfully and fully treated. Johanna is such a wonderful example of that. Unfortunately, as she pointed out, only 1 in 10 people with eating disorders receive treatment. 1 out of 10. Treatment can take months to years. It's often inadequately covered by insurance companies. We need coverage and access in order to end the revolving door of care that prevents or delays recovery. And what we know about eating disorders only shows that we need to know more about eating disorders. We need additional research focused on the prevalence and incidence of eating disorders. We need to know more about death rates, the real cost to our economy, and the cost to our families and to our society. We need to know more about effective treatment. That said, what we will learn won't matter if we're not able to provide access. No insurance company should be able to discriminate or to deny coverage of eating disorders. I've made it a priority to push for final mental health parity rules that would prevent insurers from discriminating against mental illness, but we need to go further. We need to be certain that insurance companies can't avoid coverage of often long-term and intensive treatment needed for successful recovery. That's why I introduced the FREED Act. That's why This bill will increase awareness and education. It will provide for much needed research, and it will improve access to adequate treatment. Today, I'm so pleased to welcome our panel here who will help inform my colleagues in Congress about why this legislation is so important to millions of Americans and their families. This is, I know from the brief discussions I've had already here, an issue that is so intimately personal to those on our panel and to so many of you who are here today. I am proud to be the sponsor of this legislation, but I am prouder still to know that your commitment and your efforts helping to educate my colleagues will help to ensure that we move this important legislation forward to success. I appreciate the opportunity to join with you today, and I thank you for all of the incredible work that you're doing. Thanks very much.